you know, as coaches, we facilitate a lot of times. Those veteran guys, you know, when Danny grabs Elijah and says, listen, this is what's going on and this is how you need to respond to it, that carries a lot of weight. And I think that's been one of the more impressive things to me about our senior group. They think about, I think, their legacy here, not just in the stats that they put up and the performance they put on between the white lines, but what they leave behind. And mentoring these young guys and bringing them along with them and teaching them how to work. You know, sitting down with them, watching a little extra film, taking them out back on the East Field after practice. And that's been really one of the more impressive things to me about guys like Danny and Andrew and Evan and Haola. And so I think that's going to pay dividends for us down the road as a program. And that's been fun to watch.
I know one of the other ideas was obviously getting those guys in. Now you can keep your guys fresh for the entire. I mean, are you starting to see that guys are?
Well, you think,
fresh?
okay, we're playing 13 games. Okay, we're playing in a conference where everybody plays 80+ snaps a game, and so you know you've only got so many miles on the car, and before you got to change the oil. So we've got to make sure that we do a good job of maintenance, so to speak, and keeping those guys as fresh as we can, handling our reps in practice with those veteran guys, and being smart with them. And so we've got to continue to roll those guys. And you may see those guys play more snaps in these last 6 games just because we start to develop, you know, that fatigue factor in the long season. Guys start to get nicked up a little bit. And so I think we've kind of, I think, had a good plan as the season's progressed. And some of those guys are now more ready to play more downs. Early in the season, they weren't ready to play more downs. And so now that they've had some game experience and, you know, played under the bright lights at Autzen Stadium and had some opportunities to get out there and do their thing, they're more confident in their ability, and that's going to just make us better again in the fourth quarter when we can play with our fresh guys.
What have you seen from ASU's offensive line, and what kind of particular problems are they going to present?
Yeah, you know, they're a really big group up front. You know, I think all of them are in that 6'4", 300-pound range, and they do a really good job on their double teams. So a lot of their run game comes off of tracks, veer schemes where these guys are just down blocking and blocking what's in their path. And when they get on doubles, they really can move guys off the ball. You saw it against Stanford, one of the better defensive fronts in our league, and they did a nice job of moving those guys up front and creating creases for their backs. And so it really comes down to that quarterback's decision-making, us being in the right position, and not giving up a lot of knockoff at the line of scrimmage. We've got to anchor down and do a good job on their double teams. When they get into one-on-one situations, that's where you've got a chance to maybe move a little bit and anchor down and do a good job. But when they're on double teams, they're as good as anybody in this league.
And he said that said that maybe Kelly was maybe a little bit more of an explosive runner with the ball compared to Brkovici, but he said there's maybe not too much difference between the two.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you're going to see with Taylor is Taylor's just operated in the system more. And so that probably gives them a little bit more. I mean, I think Brkovici is a very good passer. They have great guys on the perimeter in their skill positions. And so I think what you're going to see is, they're going to run their offense. The element that Taylor adds is maybe a little bit more of a decision maker. Maybe they're, perhaps they're saying, hey, this is a give read, this is a pull read, whereas Taylor can go ahead and take that and really take what the defense is giving him as the play progresses. And so that's where his strength is.
And just as an aside, for Sunday's game with the Hawks and the Rams, as a special teams coach, seeing what the Rams did special teams wise.
Yeah. I mean, let it hang out, man.
I was gonna. That's got to be one of the guts. Do you have the guts to be able to pull something like that?
Well, I don't think I don't got the keys to the car, man. That's the boss on that one. So, but hey, I mean, you got to look at the Rams. They're in a situation where you're going, okay, we got the Super Bowl champion coming to our house. We're in a tight game. We got to play to win the game. And so it was the right call. It was a well-executed play. They had a situation where it was dialed up for them. The one that was probably more impressive to me was we call it ghost return, where you're bluffing the return knowing that they're going to directional kick one direction, and just the ability to field that ball over his shoulder and then pull the coverage there. And so I think Chicago did that a couple of years ago and had a touchdown with Devin Hester on that. And so, that's some great coaching on the Rams special teams department, and really courageous call in that situation. I think you give credit not just to the special teams coach, but to Coach Fisher too, playing to win the game.
In your history, have you guys ever come up with something that's been able to pull off so spectacularly like that?
We've had a couple of pretty good ones.
Yeah.
The 2010 Fiesta Bowl was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
So where we hit the fake punt down the middle, we weren't really moving the ball against TCU, and we were able to hit one, backed up on our 30-yard line, really changed the game, led to our only offensive score. And so we've, Coach Pete's always had a kind of a wide open mentality in that phase. I think right now, one of the things that we're looking at is what can our guys handle? It's just like offense and defense. We got to build a foundation. We can't go out and run trick plays all the time if we can't execute our base stuff. And so when we get more proficient at executing our base stuff, I think we'll see the package expand really in all three phases.
How surprising, disappointing, or the missed tackles seems to be the one takeaway.
Well,
is that something
there's no question. I think we've been a fairly good tackling team most of the year. I think it boils down to three things. Okay, body position, eyes, and effort. And if your eyes are out of, your eyes are going to get you out of position faster than anything else on your body. And so, you get fatigued, you're getting rolled a little bit, technique goes out the window, you start to miss tackles. And so it's kind of one of those things that steamrolls a little bit. And so, yes, very disappointing, because that's a huge emphasis for us. We work on it a lot in practice, and that's not going to change. I think that one of the things I always felt like that Coach Pete did a great job of was really honing in on fundamentals throughout the course of the season. We don't get through fall camp and stop doing individual or stop working on tackling or body position. We continually rep those things. And so it's disappointing when you have a game like Oregon where a lot of missed tackles show up. But that doesn't change our approach. We go right back to doing what we're doing, continue to emphasize the fundamentals, and we'll improve.